what's next? Grab a seat. Well, high five, grab a seat. Thank you. Thank you. Now you got there. Please grab a seat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So, where do I start? First of all, I want to thank you for the privilege of a chance to visit you all. I know you've all come from all over the world, and I know you've earned your place to get to see this today. You've all done something that most human beings won't do. You faced your fear and decided to start your own business. And for me, that makes you a brother or sister with the other path. I really honor you that you pray. Look at everybody who's But that's something really special here. No one's getting insane in this way. I'm not going to say what I want to say. And what I will say is just something very special. I think you know it, but sometimes when you're in it, you might forget what you're doing. Anything you get familiar with turns into a little bit of an edge. This is an industry that doesn't always have the best reputation. Your company does. You're in a place where your products and your services are award-winning. You have the #1 essentials products in the world, in North America, I should say, is truly extraordinary. Dr. Wentz really deserves an amazing hand. And I got backstage to meet Marvin and Kajika, a few people that have done extremely well in this business. I wanted to know their story, why they joined. It was beautiful to hear them say, in one case, I looked at 73 companies before I got here. You know, to hear Marvin tell me the story of what she's been through, I know you all know her story, it's quite amazing. So let me cut to the chase. I have 90 minutes. I haven't done a 90-minute talk in about 20 years. And the reason is because my shortest talk is usually 50 hours, 50. I do it 4 days because I need a total immersion. I don't really believe in just pumping something up, but I do want to build muscle. It's like working out. You can understand working out, but if you do it and you drive yourself, you build muscle, you can produce the result you don't have to think about it. So what am I going to do in 90 minutes? I'm challenged, but I'm also excited. Excited is a little format, but I think I can introduce you enough of this that when you leave here, you can see measurable change. You came here for some new results. Say, ah! And my focus is how do you make that happen in a very, very short period of time. And I want to thank also, it's amazing, by the way, to see all the ladies in the room. The last 2 groups I spoke to are all male CEO groups, which is a terrible representation of women in our business and our culture today. Not fun, is it? You can feel this room. In fact, the Wall Street Journal had said that today, women now control 80% of the wealth of this country. 80% right now. But also said we have easy access to the other 20%. So let me give you a little background and then let's get cut to it and talk about how we create some breakthroughs. I'm here today because I've been obsessed for basically about 32, 33, 34 years at this point in my life with the answer to a question, that is what makes the difference in the quality of people's lives. Why is it some people, you can give them everything. You can love on them, you can give them great education, they can have great economic resources, and they spend their life going out of rehab. And you meet other people who life is kicked in the face. People that are used every emotion, anything you can imagine. And very often those are the very individuals that inspire us and don't want to change the world, to touch us. And as I looked through it, in the very beginning, looking at these things, I thought, well, those people are lucky. They have a different background. I grew up in an environment where I had 4 different fathers. When I met my 4th father, I said, Mom, I'm confused. And we didn't have food. In fact, I feed 2 million people a year, and I do that because when I was 11 years old, somebody fed my family. I still know who it is to this day. But the value was not just being fed, was that the stranger cared. And that made me believe that I gotta care about strangers. Changed the direction of my life. This year, I'm going to feed 50 million people personally. Thank you. I think you for pause. When I'm telling you that reason, I'm telling you because I found that the people that have been through the most pain have the most thrive. If you listen to Carmen talking about all that she's been through in her life, all the way from the pain earlier in her life, all the way through the cancers, what makes us stronger is the challenge. And most of us want it to be easier. What we really have to do is want it to be better. And that better only comes by pushing against something. I mean, if I told you that there was a person whose life was begun, and when they began, they had no father, their mother was rarely there, they were sexually abused multiple times until they were 13 years old. And at 13, they became a mother themselves, just like their mother had been, a teenage mother. And at 13 years old, this little child, after being abused, is having a child, a mother having a baby, a child having a child. And that baby is going to be born stillborn. What would that do to an adult, much less a child? And what if after all that, this child is so angry they put her in an institution, there are not enough beds, so they let her check out, and a man who claims to be her father finally says, I'm her dad. And her life changes. And she becomes one of the most influential women on the planet. You know the story, what's her name? Quick.
Oprah.
What is it?
Oprah.
That's Oprah's story. So part of the challenge that I think we face is most of us want it to be instantaneous. We live in a Facebook world. We live in a world where you plant the seed, you get the answer instantaneously. And what I'd like to do is show you what the best of the best really do. Because I've been obsessed studying it. And by the way, the last year I spent time studying 50 of the most successful financial people literally on the face of the earth to write a book on doing to figure out what is it they do different than anybody else. So this morning, in my short little time, I'm going to show you that. But I will tell you up front that one common denominator between people who succeed and people who fail has nothing to do with intelligence. Very smart people fail miserably. It has nothing to do with being supported. Many people have not been supported or successful. It has to do with one thing, hunger. If you are hungry enough for this operation, this opportunity, this place that you found yourself called Usana has proven itself, you have an opportunity to prove yourself. But what it's going to require is this ignition that this event is all about. I'd like to see if we can help you in that process in a short period of time. But I will tell you up front, that the biggest thing that stops us are our limiting beliefs. We all have beliefs about who we are, and the most limiting belief is that all of us have at some stage of our life is that there's something holding us back. But inside, we know it's only us. In fact, this has been going on for decades, but in this country, it probably started many years ago. We started blaming people when we had problems and started suing them. It started happening decades ago. We started taking people with problems and labeling those problems as somewhere outside of me, so that I can't change. It's not me, it's the outside world. It's the government, it's the taxes, it's the environment, it's the upbringing, it's the abusive parents I had. And yet the most successful people in the world went through all of that, and they've still been successful. I'll give you one of the simplest examples. Some of you may be old enough to remember. You remember the Menendez brothers? These two brothers, raise your hands if you remember the Menendez brothers. I'm curious. Please raise your hands.
Unfortunately.
You know, 25 years ago, I think our culture started changing in the United States where this ideal was these two young men from a very wealthy family, and they were angry with their parents and they were giving them what they wanted. So they shot them at point blank range with a shotgun and killed them. But when they went to the jury trial, needed to the jury trial, the jury couldn't be convinced that this was that they were, even though they admitted it, that they should be convicted. It took 2 jury trials to do it. That's the world we entered. Shortly after that, some remember there was a woman who got very angry with her husband in New York, and she decided to take matters in her own hands. Her name was Lorena Bobbitt. You remember Lorena Bobbitt? Lorena Bobbitt got very upset with her husband in the middle of the night, and so she took out a carving knife and she chopped off Mr. Happy. I'll just call him that, okay? She took him for a ride in the car and threw him in a field. Now, when they went to the jury trial, they said, is she guilty? Is she guilty? How many men think she's guilty right now? Make some noise, you know? I mean, listen, if her husband was an idiot, if he was terrible, guess what? That's what laws are for. That's what he's gone through. This one woman is responsible for more men sleeping on their stomachs after a fight than anyone else. But I don't feel bad for him. You might feel bad for her. The highway patrol and the police are going to go looking for that thing. What did they do when they found it? You pick it up. No, you pick it up. So what I'm going to get to right now is, what does it really take for you to break through? Let's put down the very first thing. If you're going to ignite, you need energy. Who's with me on this? Say I. And you just have a ton of energy, but the real secret is to create the energy when you don't feel like it. The real secret is to put yourself in what I call a peak state so the best of you comes through. So here's what I can do before you do anything else. If you would, please stand up. Please stand up. Shake your body out. Bring energy to your body. And here's what I'd like you to do. You are in a business where your job is to be a leader. Who's going to be on this? Say I.
I.
What does a leader do at their essence? A leader is a person who's able to change the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, and the actions of other human beings. If you lead, you influence. Now, to influence other people, you got to know what already influences them. So what influences people? Well, lots of things influence us, but there are two things that influence above anything else. Number one is the state you're in. When you're in an angry state, are you going to